We are CrackU providing free mocks for IBPS Clerk. For that, you only need to search on Google CrackU IBPS Clerk free mocks. Click on the link. Now click on the free mock to take the test. Now select your language and start the mock.
Hi friends, welcome to our channel CrackU RRB SSC Banking Exams. In today's video, we are going to discuss English section fillers. This is very important section for all competitive exams. Before you solve the questions, let's know the procedure of solving these questions. Firstly, you need to read the sentence carefully. Most of them don't read it properly and end up getting wrong answers. Second one, after reading the question, you need to get a clear idea of what kind of word that suits the sentence. If you don't get it, try to read it twice and choose the suitable word. Now you need to read the options. From options you need to relate the sentence which is asked in the question. Then find out which word suits the sentence. Now you can eliminate each option which does not suit the sentence. Elimination is very important. Here you need to eliminate each wrong answer and choose the right one. Now let's solve the question. The town of Chags at the mouth of the river of the same name is dash 32 miles west of Portobello. It is dash on the north bank of the river which falls into the Caribbean Sea. After reading the question, you will have an idea which word will be coming here. After that, you need to see the options: upward, parked, further and indefinite, about, situated, from and placed, fr, planted. Pause the video and try to guess the answer. So the correct answer is option C, about 32 miles and situated on the north bank of the river. Next question. As George Washington longed to go to sea, Abraham Lincoln seems to have dashed to follow the river. He tried to dash out as deckhand, but his age was against him. The answer is option E, yearned and higher. Yearned means eager. When Handel reached England, he dashed himself already well known there. The English people knew their operas and liked them so much that Handel dashed to stay. The answer is option C, found concluded. Of course, the oldest empires in the world were dash empires, centering upon the worship of a god or of a god king. Alexander was treated as a divinity and the Croesus were god is so much they have had altars and the temples dashed to them. The answer is option B, religious and devoted. Next question. An increasing number of students dash me with documentation from the Students' Disabilities Office that dash them to use a laptop to take notes. The answer is option B, present and entitles. I want to buy some pens at the dash shop. I read this paragraph in the 5th dash of the series. The answer is option C, bookshop and book of the series. From here you need to find out a one word which will suitable for both the blanks. If you want to dash the exam, you have to study well. Dash polish has become too expensive. When you come across these double fillers, it is very easy to find them. At least one sentence you can find it. You can able to find the other one as well. So the answer is option B, nail. You can directly relate this nail polish. Next question. It is difficult to dash why well-bred people avoid certain words and dash that are admitted by entomology and grammar. The answer is option D, explain and express. The fan waited all day to meet his favorite star. For this, we can dash his zeal to see him. When can you dash from his statements in the meeting? The answer is option E, infer. The name of the Christ had been dash in Britain during the period of Roman rule, but we do not know who first dashed it. The answer is option A, heard, sounded. The Syrian civil war dash out of the unrest of the 2011 Arab Spring and dash to armed conflict after President Bashar al-Assad government violently repressed protest calling for his removal. The answer is option D, grew and escalated. Escalated means which increases rapidly. A period of 40 years dash before Europe fitted out another dash. The answer is option D, elapsed and crusade. Crusade is war and elapsed is pass by. It is very important to know vocabulary in such questions. For English section, vocabulary plays a major role. So try to read newspapers and develop your vocabulary skills. The victorious Greek pressed dash forward to prevent the foe from embarking and, if possible, to dash some of the ships. The answer is option B, rapidly and capture. The mad rulers, not satisfied with indulging their own country, dash blood, were at the war with dash of the neighboring nations. The answer is option C, with and most. The idea of a body so dash that even light could not dash was first put forward by John Milhel in a letter written in 1783 to Henry Cavendish. The answer is option D, massive, which is heavy and escape. The Greek-speaking half of the Roman Empire showed much more political than the western half. The answer is option E, western and insistence.
We are CrackU providing previous year papers for IBPS Clerk. For that, you only need to search CrackU IBPS previous year papers. Now click on the link. You can take the test and also download PDF.
As the trainer, with raising lash, hesitated an instant at the entrance to the box where the boy and the ape dashed him. A tall, broad-shouldered man passed him and entered. The answer is option E, confronted and pushed. The brilliant performance by Alasdair Cook, England could not, India. The answer is option D, despite and defeat. The Magyars realized from the beginning the importance of an understanding between themselves and Prussia and their foreign policy. The answer is option D, directed accordingly. The adolescent brain is for exploration and simply has circuitry with greater sensitivity in dash for emotion and memory than the brains of younger children or adults. Option D, thirsty centers. I mostly fall my family in times of need. The kid was very impressed himself. The answer is option A, back on and with. The Indian Army Special Forces out the surgical strikes with great. The answer is option A, carried and precision, which means something in an exact value. Learning to live and work in spaces to all of our future space? The answer is option C, essential explorations. Their spokesperson for making comments on women. The answer is option D, fired and inappropriate. He wanted to out of the anger but could not. Before you all, hear me out. The answer is option E, go. Europeans find the of Indian very hot. He always his horse before the race. The answer is option E, curries. The electromagnetic force is the one for practically all phenomena one encounters in daily life above the nuclear scale, with gravity as the only. The answer is option E, responsible exception. The of the bus ride to Andheri is different for men and women. Life is not. The answer is option D, fair and fair. In spite of several obstacles, she a way to educate herself and her siblings. Option A, facing and found. There is dash, sweet companion, pure charity. The answer is option C, no and like. Sumit was dash fan of biographies and had read over 100 biographies of politicians and businessmen. The answer is option B, prominent means famous or important. I think we should discuss this. Let's walk along the beach. The answer is option B. So the difference between further and further is, this further is figurative and farther is which is in a physical distance. Israel has been India's only friend. They, as every single minute from the 1971 war to the Kargil war. The answer is option A, all weather supported. The investigation of the NTSB that several persons has reported a gas leak in the building in the days leading up to the explosion. The answer is option C, concealing and apparent. This means supported, which is supposed. Mr. Shukla has been the dash of his college for 10 years. She doubled her in 4 years. The answer is option A, principal. The European Commission a hefty tax bill to Apple. The answer is option D, handed and down. The hydroelectric project is likely to jobs and employment opportunities to the local population. The answer is option E, generate and provide. Getting some exercise in can be quite a, considering the fact that many of us have a busy schedule. The answer is option A, challenge extremely. It was in the year of our Lord 1629 that Mahir Walter van Willer was governor of the province of New Netherlands under the and control of their high mightiness, the Lord States General of the United Netherlands and the privileged West India Company. The answer is option C, appointed and commissioned. The strike by the bank employees in heavy losses for the government. The answer is option B, resulted. We Crack You provide free mock test for SSC, railway and banking exam. For that, you only need to Google search Crack You free mock. Click on free mocks, then you will be able to find free mocks for SSC, banking and railways exams. Candidates can select their exam and take the free mock test. 2 persons to living in a frugal way, $300 seem a option D. Accustom and fortune. Accustom means usual. Industrial education is now imperative for every nation that would, in agriculture, manufacture and trade, not only because of the growing intensity of the competition, but because of the apprentice system and the growing intricacy of processes, requiring only the skill need for livelihood. The answer is option B, excel and decline. My father intended that I should one day take charge of his business, but since I displayed greater than he expected, with the advice of his friends, he resolved that I should study medicine. For a physician, if he only knows more than a common, can make his fortune in India. The answer is option B, capacity and quack. This means sounds of some duck. The refugees from Afghanistan have to trek over mountains to escape war and economic at home. The answer is option E, treacherous deprivation. This means guilty. Deprivation is lacking something. Science may just continue to the problems of overpopulation in the future. So maybe we should not be so to call for a global one-child rule just yet. The answer is option D, solve and quick. A history of the popular opinion of the antiquity of a man is not only of, but should teach a lesson to all who think others are wrong because not holding the same as they do. The answer is option E, interest and views. The number on his phone was not, but he answered anyway. She heard a voice as she turned around. The answer is option B, familiar. Kishore says he tries to be, but admits he occasionally. The answer is option B, frugal and bringes. Frugal means simple and bringes means to bring. Ramesh had very little time to consider of his actions. As a result, his actions were met with. The answer is option B, rapacious and failure. Rapacious means which happens because of something. One action leads with another action. Last question of the day. As Kumar joined the queues outside the ATM, he cursed the Modi government. More than the longest term benefits of the move, he was concerned about the pain he had to go through. The answer is option E, serpentine and immediate. This means describing things that look like snake. We will be back with more important videos like this. Please don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon to get daily updates. Thank you.